we made it.
By the grace of God.
Barely. And
Barely.
hopefully this will be one of the best shows, inshallah. Okay.
How are you?
In honor of Ramadan. Shout out to all Muslims out there. It's Ramadan.
How was your day? Can you hear
How
me?
was my day?
Yeah.
It was a rough day at work. That's okay.
Good.
You didn't have a good day. I already know.
It was shot to shit. It was a horrible day.
Yeah.
It's over now, so that's all that matters. It's cool. This is my last. This is it.
This is it. We're gonna end the day off right. You want to tell the people what we're doing today?
What people? I'm playing. All right. Welcome. This is ORNOT Podcast. I am your very favorite co-host, Tasha Mack, and that's my little sister, Nanny. And today this is a part 2. So if y'all run it back to last week, we had a ladies' night, and the end of the ladies' night, we started talking about Love is Blind. Well, that opened up a can of worms, which created a whole new show, which is why we're here today. That's all I have.
That's exactly why we're here. I do want to preface this, and I will say it again when more people come into the congregation, because they will come later, because that's what they do. We will not be bashing AD's hair or her lashes today. We are not going to contribute to that madness. We are not going to talk about it. We're going to focus on the important topics. So try to steer clear from those things. Okay, there are bigger issues. Huh?
I didn't know we were doing that.
Doing what?
Steering clear of those things.
Yeah. Well, I think let me tell you why. Okay. Because I think I watched a podcast today, and she made a very good point. And she was like, one, there were no mirrors in the pods. There were no mirrors in the pods or in the break room or the lounge. Mirrors? There were no mirrors. Also, there was no one on set to do hair. People think that there's a glam team. There's no one on set to do hair. She said she had one of the worst hair days of her life, and it just so happened that it, was on national TV. And I do think it's really sad to see Black women tear other Black women down because they decided to use strip lashes, and it was a little wonky. Now, I don't use strip lashes, never have, but I'm almost certain that anyone who has, it's a little wonky. Mm-hmm. Right. So let's just extend grace in that aspect. So I just think there are other topics that we could talk about.
You have a list, right? You have a
directory. Yes. Okay, good. I'm going to be something like a moderator today.
Good, because I'm not, with the day that the good Lord has given me, I was hoping you would step in and be the big sister today. So, yeah.
Okay.
All right, great.
So let's go ahead and you can intro everyone and bring everybody in like you did. You can't do that either?
You can let them in, because I can't do it.
I'm doing everything today. I'm running the show. So first, we're going to bring Brittany in. Everyone, welcome Brittany. Hey, girl. And then we're going to bring Niecy in. Hey, Niecy. Hey. We're going to bring Addie in. There's our girl, Addie. And last but not least, LT.
Hey, LT.
Hey, girl. So I'm hoping that everyone did their homework. Is that a firm yes from everyone?
Absolutely.
Great. Love that. So we want to kick off the discussion first. If anyone had any fan favorites, like if you had a favorite cast member, anyone can jump in. Don't give us a dissertation.
My favorite was Matthew.
Who's Matthew? Who's Matthew?
Matthew was the white man that was so rude to all the
Clark Kent.
Thank you, Addie. Clark Kent.
Oh, is that what we call him? Clark Kent?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's what they said on the reunion.
Oh, really? Yeah. I think that's when I really realized I wanted to tune in, because he was so ballsy. I was like...
He was Ghost at the reunion, though.
He was. So Matthew was my favorite.
Okay. Does anyone else have a favorite?
My favorite was probably I cannot think of her name. It wasn't Laura. It was
Jessica.
Jessica.
Which
I
one
like
was
Jessica.
Jessica?
That
Was dating Jeremy
You are
along with
going to
Jimmy.
choke.
No, Jimmy. She was dating Jimmy.
Jimmy. I'm sorry, yes, Jimmy. Yeah.
Oh, she was the original, the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Anyone else want to go and tell them their favorite, or are we gonna go to the next question here? Okay, well I'll take that.
Well,
I think
go ahead,
I think Brittany said something too, but she was
oh,
mute.
Go ahead, Brittany.
I was gonna say I think I like AD. However, I also kind of like Sarah's bold move. However, I'm sure we'll get into that.
We will. You're right. Addie, do you want to tell us who your favorite was?
I'm being funny, but I'm gonna say Trevor.
Who is Trevor?
Trevor, that man. Trevor, can we talk about Trevor's hair? I know we can't talk about AD, but can we talk about Trevor?
Is Trevor
Well, he
black?
was my favorite until the reunion because I was.
Is Trevor black?
No, Trevor
Okay,
was
then
the
we can
white
talk about
guy.
it. We can talk about it.
He was the one that didn't they
Trevor-
put his text messages out there?
Oh, the mullet.
He had the mullet. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I knew about those text messages a week before the reunion. They were a little slow on
I
that.
didn't know. But seriously though, I don't think I really had a favorite.
Niecy talking about.
I'm a YouTube girly.
I was being funny.
Okay. So
The
you said
hairstylist
Trevor.
Anisi is shaking her head. She is dead on the mullet.
Niecy was like the mullet.
Mm-hmm.
LT, do you have a favorite?
I really don't. I don't have a favorite. And when I say I don't have a favorite, because I think everybody had their own little razzle dazzle to this mix of foolery. But so 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 I don't have a fan favorite. I'm here for the commentary. I'm here for post commentary. I even did a little research and everything on like
Hey.
Glamour
Come on, Cliff
magazine.
Notes.
I love that. I thought you were a prepared kind of girl. So with that being said, I am also prepared. What I would like to do here is dive into the other couples first, and then focus most of our time on AD and Clay, because they are what we were hoping to be black love.
I would like to say that you are giving us Oprah today, so I'm loving this hosting thing that you got going on. You're doing a great job.
Thank you. I appreciate that affirmation. I received it. Okay, with that said, let's go. Brittany, you mentioned Sarah Ann. Let's go into Sarah Ann. My question for you first is, you said you like Sarah Ann's ballsiness. Did you like that she went off into the sunset on the ski? Did you like that?
So, could I tell that they were genuinely happy after that? Absolutely. So I like that for them. They had a time. I do. Yep. And she let them know. She had no care what AD had to let her know how wrong she was. She said, "Let me show you."
So for the people, can we give like a quick commentary? Brittany can do it, or you can do it of what Sarah did.
Okay.
Somebody watching.
Brittany, since that's your girl, you want to give a commentary?
Okay.
just
first,
too.
I just really enjoyed her boldness because, yeah, I wouldn't say she's my girl.
Brittany, right now I'm looking for a synopsis on what happened. I don't care why she's your girl.
Because you was like your girl, and
okay. I will redact that. I'm sorry. I will take that.
Also, as a married woman, hello.
Right.
But speaking of love, she basically what happened is she was talking to old boy first, or at the same time, he chose someone else, and she felt like before leaving the pods, she didn't say all that she had to say.
Okay.
So while they was on their vacation, as now an engaged person, she sent in a DM, she slid in the DMs and was basically like, slid, okay? And was basically like, if things don't work out, just know I'm here.
Come through.
Come through. Mm-hmm. And
It came through.
Yeah, and he came through.
Okay. So now that we have that synopsis and we
Till
know
5
how
a.m.
Brittany feels about Addie, how do you feel about her? Do you have any feelings about her?
You think she was right? Do you think she should have done that?
I can go while Eddie thinks if you need a minute.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Niecy. We're on air time tonight.
Yes, I'm like, I'm trying to find a nice word.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Niecy, you go.
Okay. So
Go ahead,
I don't think Sarah had ill will. I don't think she was trying to be malicious or anything like that. I think she genuinely, like Brittany said, did not get off her chest everything she wanted to say. And she wanted to say it, you get home, she got back to the real world, she had things she wanted to say. So I don't think she thought about it like, hey, when I send this DM, he's gonna be engaged. He's gonna like be on like his pre-honeymoon type of thing. I don't think she thought about it like that. She didn't think it all the way through. She was just like, I didn't get to say all I wanted to say. I'm gonna shoot this message. I feel her for like getting it off her chest. It was, however, only thinking of herself. She was not thinking about Laura or the other girl involved. But I don't think she was trying to be like malicious, although the rest of the cast did think that. So maybe there's some behind the scenes things we don't know.
Well, I mean, to that point, really quick, some behind the scenes is that she made a video and said that this was great entertainment and that they did a great job at that entertainment. Yeah. So with that said, Addie, do you have anything after that?
Well, so but the interesting thing, because I do recall when she made that statement, and she mentioned that she didn't really think about how it would be received, like in regards to like the audience and everyone watching. Like she had no malice intent in it, but she also talked about the fact that there's a lot of their experiences that wasn't shown because Laura, I guess was the one who ended up engaged to him, and that's the one he picked. So the way she's portrayed in general and how the filming and how it was cut, it makes her be perceived a certain way. And I know that was like her huge thing at the reunion and saying, I'm not the pick me girl, you're the pick me girl. And the reality of it is, Love is Blind was created for them not to come and make friends. It's to find the person they're in love with. So, and the reality of it is, she's not friends with them. So,
that's true.
I'm not a fan of her, but really, her loyalty is not to the girl.
Yeah. LT, what do you think?
There's a speech you give, and the one you wanted to give. And I think she had the speech she wanted to give moment. And like Niecy said, she came and she said it. And what I appreciate about her was when she said she wasn't keeping in mind about what people thought, she was, that's the most real moment. If you're saying what's from your heart, you're not worried about what people think about you, what's for TV. You're just going to do what you feel you need to say from your heart to that person. At least you can walk away knowing you said all you needed to say and did all you could do. And you don't have that what if moment. What if I had said this? What if I had done that? And sometimes the things we need to do may not always be pleasing to the people around us. It may not always be acceptable. I mean, society has this cultivated about what's right and what's wrong, what's acceptable, how does it look, what is the norm. But when you're talking about somebody's heart, somebody's feelings, how many of us have taken extremes or said something or tried that one last ditch effort before somebody says I do or before you make the decision you made? So that's my take on it. I just feel like she said what she needed to say, and at the end of it all, when she goes to sleep, regardless of what anybody has to say about her, she said her piece, and he still made his decision. At least he did it knowing how she felt.
And I just want to add on, I think that is the biggest aspect. Like, I know me, especially growing up and being younger, like I was a people pleaser, and now I realize, like, I was about to cuss, but like, yeah, F them people. Like,
it's okay. We cuss here. We cuss here.
Okay, well, people, you can do. You need to do what you need to do for yourself. And I really felt like I connected with her in that moment, and she said what she had to say. And I don't think that she was doing it in ill will. I think that she was just really getting off what she needed to say off her chest.
What she needed to get off her chest.
Right. And putting it, not necessarily to put it on him, to I don't think, as someone commented, like I don't even think that she thought of him actually responding or him even, taking that next step. I really think it was more for her to just get it off her chest. So that's why I say I like what she did.
But they also had a one-on-one too, though.
This is true until 5 a.m.
Right.
Well, no, I'm speaking about Laura and Sarah that they showed
did.
it at the reunion. But
right.
That was Laura's opportunity to say what she said, and it just almost kind of seemed like, even though she voiced how she felt about it, she didn't really emphasize it like she did at the reunion, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Laura, and it seems like the consensus is that y'all think that Sarah Ann was just getting it off her chest and she didn't care about what anyone thought. Does anyone think that Laura was a mean girl? Because it could be turned the other way and say Laura was just getting things off of her chest and she didn't care what anyone thought. I'm
Laura
curious
was
to
mean
know
to her man.
Nisi, go ahead. What you say?
Laura was mean to her man. She was mean to anybody who disagreed with what she had to say. And backing up to that last topic, AD wouldn't have had so much to say on her chest if somebody was trying to come to play. First of all. And yeah, Laura was just too much. Like you could even tell when her family made that appearance on the show, they were like, yeah, she can be a lot. Yes, this and this and that. Like they know their daughter is mad extra. So yeah, she was a little spicier than she needed to be, trying to get people to pick her.
If anything, she needed, maybe Sarah kind of was like the saving grace of it all to save him from something. I'm just,
That's true.
That's why I said that right off.
Blessings come in all forms. You just never know. You just never know.
So are they together?
Yes, they're together and they live together now.
Oh, okay.
But they broke up like twice, so maybe 3 times according to Chelsea,
They're a little off and on. But speaking of blessings, what about Trevor and Chelsea dodging that bullet? Are we gonna consider that a blessing?
I don't like neither one of them. And I do not like Chelsea. Chelsea was my least favorite character of the cast.
I didn't like Jimmy. I didn't mind Chelsea as much.
Chelsea was, to me, she was not emotionally stable to date. At least that's how the show showed her. Because AD in the reunion, AD was like, "Oh, she's so strong-minded, blah blah blah." We didn't see that. She cried at the drop of a dime about everything. He could not be honest with her. Like she's not emotionally stable to date, in my opinion.
You make a very good point. It's about what we see.
Yeah.
Right.
So, it's something
because I feel like it's become more about the ratings versus the actual experience.
Right.
Because I feel like a lot of those shows are like that. They are, the ratings is number one. So, if something dramatic happens, then obviously that's going to get top priority, or the way that they want to portray people.
Now, my little sister here, she likes to stay on target, but I'm gonna jump out real quick. So please, I'm sorry if it's off the itinerary. So, for example, I have a question. So the whole thing with Jimmy telling Chelsea that he doesn't want to be with her anymore, do you think that the show had something to do with the fact that they went through that whole date and then he told her?
Yes, because they wanted to not have to pay $50,000.
So tell me about that.
The producers, gave him the approval to end the marriage, to not go through. Had the producers not given them like a waiver, then they would have had to pay $50,000.
I didn't know that. Where you find that out at?
I'm an avid YouTube watcher.
I was gonna say, she got the intel.
Right.
She got the tea. It's boiling.
Yeah.
Because it was
take a sip.
Right. Because they went through the whole date.
I think that weighed on it. Because they had to close it up. They had to close the loop. Just like Ken and Brittany.
So how do y'all feel about that from if all of this is real, right? Because I have a feeling about that too. But if all of this is real, I mean, that's really messed up. Chelsea gonna need therapy. That is like
she is therapy.
She already needed therapy, baby.
Chelsea needed therapy.
You know what? Maybe the experience of that filming influenced her to seek a therapist and probably unpack. because she had a lot to unpack.
Yeah, she did. She was a
I
problem.
also think this was classic Jimmy though, because let's remember he did the same thing with Jessica. He waited until the very last night to make a decision where Jessica could not pick anybody
That's
else if
right.
she wanted to or whatever. He waited until the very last moment, and he was like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I think you should say this for your husband, but I'm not him." Like that that kind of just goes in his character plus the whole waiver and owing the money, like.
That's true. That fit him completely. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, Danielle. You can get back on.
No. Does anyone else have any input on that? Chelsea and Jimmy, because we're gonna move right on to who's next. Ken,
Oh.
the Christian
It's Tasha's
couple.
face. Oh, Ken.
The Christian couple. So I didn't like Ken. I don't think Ken was supposed to marry a white girl. I think Ken thought about it afterwards. And I think AD's conversation sparked that, unfortunately. He started thinking about, he said he was real woke. So I don't think Love is Blind was his avenue. He should have chose.
Right. Why would you go on Love is Blind if you woke? Because you
I
don't
have
know
no
what you're going to
idea.
get.
But apparently they're best friends. But I mean, what do y'all think? How do you think? Well, let's also preface to this. Everyone on here should know, if you don't know, that the breakup was staged. So we like to keep that in mind. So for the people that don't,
Go back. Give us more intel.
Like the him and Brittany?
Yes, that was staged. They had already broke up. That's why it was very quick and dry. Yeah.
What?
So there's that.
Well, I don't.
But now they're besties.
But now
because he likes. I think he likes men.
Yes, I've heard that allegation. Everything is alleged here, by the way. We don't have any money.
Yeah, on our podcast, we can't confirm or deny. This is alleged information, but I think he likes men.
Allegedly.
Well,
I mean, if it would make sense, he's giving me like.
You think Brittany is a beard?
Hold on,
that's the proper terminology.
You said Brittany with a beard?
It's a beard. Does everyone know what that means?
Go
ahead.
A beard means like you're in a relationship with a girl to cover up the fact that you're gay. It happens quite a bit in the Christian community.
Right. So he's super Christian. Think about it. He's super Christian. He goes on this show because he wants to fall in love. And then all of a sudden you're woke, but you don't know who you're going to marry. And now
you're woke on what he likes.
Right.
Well, to the point. Well, back to your point when we were talking about it being different things being staged. Are people going up there because they really want to be there? You think about these shows. Ultimately, you're exposed now. Think about you're out here for anybody to capture you. So whether you marry somebody or not, people know you. Whether they love you or they hate you, they're talking about you. So you can kind of think about what he's woke to, right? He may not have known what he was going to get, but he knew he was going to be seen. He did know that, and so sometimes like Brittany said a minute ago, when it comes to these reality shows, the most genuine part of these reality shows are going to be like the first couple of seasons of anything. When you think about real life, the real world. Think about in those very, very beginning stages, even with
those are the best ones.
Those are the best ones. And the first couple of seasons of these were the best ones. I'm not saying that this one wasn't good, but there's a place where it starts. If you staging a breakup, well, now you're just doing the most. That's just my take on. That's my take on about being woke.
Nisi, what you were saying? You had a church finger up.
Yes, because I also agree that maybe he had something like he felt the way about her not being black, but they did discuss race in the pod. I don't know if y'all remember that.
Yeah, they did.
So he knew.
He knew.
He knew. He already knew before he proposed.
Yeah, because they talked about that in the pod.
So Nisi, do you feel like you don't think that his disposition changed after the conversation with AD?
Absolutely. I do believe he was very excited when he saw AD and Clay. He was all black love. You could tell he was very excited about it. He said he was attracted to his lady. it wasn't really given the same excitement he had for them. So maybe it wasn't what he had perceived. I don't
Or what
know
he
if I think.
expected.
Oh, when he expected. I don't know if I think he's gay. You know, it's never that simple anymore. It's never just like one or the other. But
Could be both.
yeah, it could be both.
I
Yeah,
think it's all of it. I think it's the whole
I
freaking
will
pack.
also
All the above.
I would
All
also like to add, I feel like his demeanor changed like once they got, I guess, together in the home. Like when she started unpacking her stuff and he was like well, I'm so happy I got my phone back. Like he was just real. Like at that point I was like,
who is this?
why are you so excited about your phone? And why are you like, and she was like, I'm unpacking, and she was just preparing, and he showed no
interest.
right. He was like, say what? Girl, what? Like, yeah, no care. So at that point, I was like, they're not gonna last.
I think they were probably already broke up by that point.
Yeah, at this point, I was about to say they may have already been broken up. So if at this point we know that there's a lot of contracts involved, and at some point you probably lose out on your money, or you don't get money, or you could be sued for not moving forward past an engagement. There's probably so much involved that at some point it becomes fake. You have to play along trying to get that check.
Facts.
So wait, they do actually get paid for going on, or is it that they have to pay money back?
I think they get paid. Danielle's the connoisseur. I'm not even.
I'm not sure about if they get paid to be on the show. However, I am very clear it's in their contract that if they do not make it to the altar, they will have to pay $50,000 unless they have approval from producers. So, for example, the guy from last season with the facial expressions, I can't think of what his name is. I think he was a Kappa or Alpha. He didn't have to pay the $50,000. Because the producers were like, okay, fine, we'll like let you out. Like this is a bad situation. So I think more than not, they let them out. However, I don't know if that is another reason why AD and Clay just went to the altar to avoid the $50,000 fee that they would have to pay.
And that's crazy too, because it's like, how you gonna make?
Yeah,
that's making somebody get married. You know what I'm saying?
It's
like
making them get married.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of things wrong with this show.
We can't hear you, Addie.
I was gonna say she's saying something.
You just talking, girl. What you say?
No, we can't hear you, Addie.
No, we
can.
Oh.
What did you say?
So I said it's because I felt like Clay was checking the temperature post-check because he was like, he really didn't want to do it, but they probably was in the background like, you got to do it.
Yeah.
So is there anyone else we want to talk about before we dive into Clay? Because we have 30 minutes.
Let's go right there.
Okay.
I just love how you skipped over the one couple that actually got married.
Oh,
I guess because it's not entertainment. Who wants to talk about that?
I don't know.
We knew they were gonna get married. They were like two perfect.
Y'all just be breezing past Amy and Johnny like
Amy and Johnny.
They were great. Love that for them.
The 2 minutes they got, just like on the reunion.
Yeah, that's true, Addie.
Congratulations to them from ORNOT Podcast. Okay.
All right, moving along.
Cheers.
So Addie mentioned thinking like they may have coached Clay to just, nudge his way to the altar. Do you guys think that this was a good choice for Clay to even be on the show, being that he was so obsessed with looks?
Absolutely.
No.
Can we talk? I know we can't. Wait, I know we can't talk about AD, but can we talk about Clay?
Yeah, we can talk. I just don't talk about the appearance of AD or Clay.
Oh, we can't talk about the appearance of Clay neither?
What about him? He's a black man.
I just don't think that he should have been so worried about looks because he's not a looker.
Well, Tasha, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, okay? So someone thinks he's a looker.
I had to say it. I'm sorry. I just think
I'm just saying that someone does think he's a looker. Maybe not anyone on here, but
he ain't that fine. He don't look that good.
He look dusty.
Okay. So I'm glad y'all. Anybody else have anything else that's not uplifting this black man? Okay.
I don't
Yes.
think he was unattractive. I just think he wasn't, like you said, for him to be so obsessed. I don't think he was like that.
Yes.
But I don't think he's just blatantly ugly. Like if I was
Right.
out and he wanted to say something, I wouldn't talk. But I don't
That's
think he
it.
was just blatantly like. Ugh, I don't think that. No, not at all.
He's not. He's not.
okay.
He's not ugly.
You just gotta be careful. You can't talk about people. You just gotta be careful of you unless you're not like your top tier. He wasn't top tier.
There's nobody that's ever gonna be top tier because it'll always be somebody better. So I look at it like I look at it. I
We
look
are
at him
God's
like
children.
I
There's
look at
someone
him.
for everybody.
Yeah, I think he's an average looking guy, and I think he would make. I would turn around. He would have to say something. He would have to have a conversation, but I would turn around.
I think what the reason why he has that confidence is not just based off of his looks. I think it's based off of like his career. I think it's based off of his as being an athlete. I think that I'm almost certain he's probably like the 3 6s, like on Kendra G. So with that being said, when you have a man like that, they're not gonna go for a 4. They don't want a 4, they want a 10 and a half.
I like his smile though. He's got a nice smile.
Even though when you add them with the other one, it still don't add up to 10.
And I don't mean no harm.
He has a nice smile though. Dental work is important, y'all.
I saw ex-girlfriend, and she is not.
We cannot determine what that man thinks is attractive. Someone might not think we cute up here.
I mean, it wasn't about her attractiveness. It was about her ratchetness. It had nothing to do with the way she looked.
Either way, the whole package. The way
she was carrying herself. I'm just saying, I just don't. I'm not for the man who's going to act as if he's got all this to offer. Meanwhile, you dating a girl that goes to the alley. I'm not here for it.
One of our sisters would be so mad at you. You try to throw the alley out there
you said
like
the
that.
alley? I was thinking Buenos Noches.
Oh, well, whatever. Well, from what I saw in the research, I was just very, anyways, go ahead.
He acted like he was surprised.
Honestly, I think that also had a lot to do with him trying to seek out, and when I say this, I might get a little backlash, but I think he was also trying to seek out a Black woman. Like when he was asking his questions, I think he was trying to fish for body type or for the assets that he enjoys. I don't necessarily think he was looking or talking about what her face looked like per se. I think he was worried about the assets.
Right. Which is why at the wedding he said body. Not you're beautiful.
Right.
Well, here's the thing, guys. The person that had the body had no problem with him saying it, and she was just fine with it, and she appreciated it. In fact, she stated that on a podcast. So she felt like the whole over-sexualizing her body, the comments that have been made about the show over-sexualizing her body, Clay over-sexualizing her body, or the cast, she was like, yes, I do have body. And I think it's great that she's proud of her body. And she said, I think that the show edited to make it look like everyone else was over-sexualizing. So I can't really say much in regards to Clay only seeking her because of her assets.
I will say that I didn't mean that he was only seeking her for that. I mean, when he first, because remember when in the pods that he said like, describe to me what you look like or something along those terms. I don't necessarily think that he was talking about her face. I think that he was trying to seek out. Right.
I was trying to say he was being like Ray Charles. He was trying to.
I think he wanted a Black woman, and
absolutely,
that's how he was going to determine it. I would have did the same thing if I wanted a Black man.
So would you have gone on the show though?
Huh?
Would you have gone on the show if you're looking for a Black man and you know it's Love is Blind? You're here to find someone based off of love.
Well, if I was 38 and I was single and still hadn't found a Black man, I would just go for whatever I could get. So I would go on Love is Blind.
But some of them be like in their 20s.
Yeah, they're very young, but I feel like they're trying to do better with that.
Yeah, apparently Chelsea's supposed to be vetting them now, so.
Well, because there was a season, and I want to say it was the same season that y'all laughing when I call her Need for Speed, but it was the same season that they were in, that there was a woman, and she was older, but the guy was younger, and there was a conversation that the family, they were concerned about the age difference between the two. So it
Milton
was an issue.
and
Yep. They still together.
They are. Nope, I follow them.
Okay, well, do y'all have any other comments about Clay's appearance?
Mm-mm.
No, Oprah.
With that being said, talking about
Can we talk about the wedding dresses? Because I just think all of them looked really nice, and they really did enjoy that
like
aspect
a Fashion Nova one.
of picking out their dresses.
It was a Fashion Nova dress?
Addie, it wasn't a Fashion Nova dress.
Wait, what?
It wasn't a Fashion Nova dress.
You sure?
It wasn't. She was at the store.
They were at the
which one had a Fashion Nova dress?
She felt like the dress was Fashion Nova-y.
Oh.
AD's.
Oh, it was. I could probably send you the link.
But again,
it was nice.
I get on
she looked amazing. Yeah.
She looked great.
Good.
I would say it gave reception dress, maybe not wedding.
Yes.
Ceremony dress.
Could have had better.
Yeah, maybe like the reception.
That's true. It gave me
reception.
Yeah,
but
I think that was more reception. It wasn't given.
I think
she's my wedding.
Yeah, it was very pretty. But like Brittany said, the whole thing with all the different dresses in the family, I liked it. I thought it was a nice touch. Huh? You cried?
It was a very heartfelt. I did too.
Oh, it was nice. I liked it. It felt genuine. That part was very genuine.
That did it for sure. And I could tell her family, like, they're very tight knit with AD. It
was nice.
Love that for them.
Do you guys think that AD missed some red flags since we're talking about her at the altar with her Fashion Nova dress?
Yeah, she paints her nails with them. Y'all missed that.
What red flags do you think she missed, Addie?
She said that. But I think AD was fixated on literally wanting to build the man to be the man that she wanted at the altar, when the man repeatedly kept expressing, I'm not ready. This is where I'm at. I'm going through this trauma with the experiences I had in my childhood. And she really expected for him to be ready by the altar. And we all saw that wasn't going to happen. But she wanted to be made a believer.
Hopeful.
And that didn't happen at all. And now they're in a situation with no ring, which is exactly what I feel like Clay wanted.
Go ahead, LT.
No, I was gonna say, I think it felt like more like by any means necessary kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's the way I want to use that, for lack of a word, but by any means necessary. But again, you on TV. Who wants to believe that, as beautiful as I am, as smart as I am, as intelligent, who wouldn't want me, kind of thing. And so sometimes we think that we can change a person and that we can get them to come on our side, or other way, when we get to the altar. And I'd rather that they found out before they said I do that it wasn't going to be that it wasn't going to work, versus saying I do and knowing he's never going to change. And now I won't say stuck, but now you got what you got, so to speak.
I agree with that.
I will also add to that, though, that money that they had to pay back might have also been a huge factor. Like, I ain't finna write a check to them, like, even if I have it. So that also could have been a fact. Like, we can figure this out when we off the show, but for now, yeah.
But she went on dates with Matthew.
Yes, but you're getting ahead.
After.
You guys are jumping the itinerary.
So with that being said, since she's not here to speak for herself, I will step in and say what she did tell someone else on another podcast in regards to all the red flags. She said that basically they would have talks offline about how he wasn't ready, and she would be like, okay, then let's not do it. And everyone saw Clay flip-flopping back and forth. She said that was very real. The back and forth, the sudden, oh, there's a bird. Oh, there's Oh, I'm so sad my dad cheats. And she said that was very real. So she was also experiencing that. So when he tells you, I love you, you're like, I'm so in love with you. I can see you as my wife. And then another minute he's saying, I'm just not sure if I am going to be a good husband. That was what she was experiencing. I don't think she necessarily like thought he was full in at the altar, but if a man says, yeah, I mean, that's anyone. I feel like if I'm going to be at the altar and say, are you sure?
So do you think she should have not moved forward then because she knew that he was half in, half out?
She should not move forward. She was more in love with being married than being with him.
Well, I think she really loved him.
Do you think she loved him?
Well, she thought he was chocolate, and
yeah, I think
I'm not saying she didn't love him. I'm not saying she didn't have feelings with him, for him, but she was more in love with the idea of being married. When she cried, she was not. After he said no, she was crying. Why ain't nobody picking me?
she was
Why am I
embarrassed.
always
Yeah.
not chose? Yes, she was embarrassed. She wanted to be married. They could have very well got married and got an annulment within the 2 months or whatever, and she would have, did whatever. But they were not supposed to be married, and yet she ignored all the red flags.
I think she wanted to be a wife more than she wanted to be married. She was looking to be a wife.
So it's more of the label than actually doing the effort and the work to maintain it and build it for it to actually be a fruitful foundation.
And unfortunately, I think there's a lot of women out there that are like that. They're not necessarily looking for marriage; they're looking to be a wife.
Well, those moments in that show at the last part where he told her no, and they separated, and she said how she felt, it kind of shook the world, and it hit home close for many women because, as you stated, Brittany, and I think all of us are saying different things, but they're all very valid, and I think it's because many women have a desire to be married. Of course, there's more to it, right? You want to be married, but there's more than just the married part. And I think there's many women that have it. They're in love with being in love. And so that's natural. And the how she felt is natural. I think that how she felt is exactly how women feel. And I think that's why it kind of I think it shook the world. There were tears. Everybody.
I mean, honestly.
But do you
transparency
think,
moment? I was triggered. I was triggered by AD.
Do you think it's fair? I mean, I know we're on AD side, but to Clay's point, do you think it's fair that she didn't hear when he said he didn't think he was ready to be a husband? Do you think it's fair? Do you think it's fair to him? Like you said, the money at the end of it all might have had a big part in that. But if a man tells you how he's really feeling, is it fair to disqualify what he's saying? Is it fair to say, oh, what he?
Did she disqualify it, or she said that we don't have to do it? She said multiple times that we don't have to do it.
I mean, well, even saying we don't have to do it, but that's in the back of this man's mind that this just may not be the thing, that he may not want to. Where's that part and that ballsy part, that boss move part that says, you know what, I'm gonna do us both a solid. We just not gonna do it till we both feel it's ready.
Well, if
she wanted what she wanted,
if it was $50,000, that might have been.
And I get that, and I know it's easy. It's easy sitting on this side of this camera or sitting in this chair saying, "Oh no, I'm not paying $50,000." But is it worth paying? Is it worth to go through something for $50,000 and to have to be with somebody who like this, in the back of your mind, this just isn't it. And
because an annulment don't cost that much.
Well, what I was going to say,
she was gonna build a man.
Does an annulment cost that much?
You said she's gonna build the bear. She's gonna build the man.
How much is an annulment?
I don't know how much it is. If you
I don't think it's 50,000.
It's just like it never happened. They could have went through with it.
Exactly.
It was a money thing or whatever.
So y'all say y'all think they should have went through with it and then did
No, they just have to make it to the altar. They don't have to say yes. They just have to make it to the altar.
Oh, they just have to make it to the altar. They don't have to say
yes. They don't necessarily have to say yes.
No.
Okay.
That's why they did it.
Well, if she had to pay money, then I would have said, then just go through with it. But, yeah.
To play devil's advocate as well, like, maybe he really did want to marry her, but because I remember in him speaking, he wasn't necessarily saying I don't want to marry you, but he was expressing the different things and in detail of what his hesitations were. My father was a cheater, so that in the back of his mind, like maybe therapy or maybe some counseling could have worked. Like maybe he needed to figure out what he needed for himself first. And maybe he was also letting her know, like, firsthand, like, I know these are my issues up front, so I need to work on myself before I can, commit to you, although I'm saying I'm committed to you. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, but he did. I feel like he expressed that multiple times. Everyone knows his dad cheated. He cared. He was with him. He saw everything. The lady probably fixed him dinner. We all know that. But I think some of those excuses were not valid excuses, like in regards to finances. And AD said that was a BS excuse. They also have Clay saying that he didn't love her. He's not in love with her.
Exactly.
That was
at
BS.
the end of the wedding.
He was coached. Those things were coached.
That part about her finances was dead wrong. I don't
Well,
think.
here's the thing. Apparently, here's the backstory. AD, we all know AD is a real estate agent. I think everyone knows that. And she was like an NBA and NFL cheerleader. So AD took off of work. She made sure that her schedule was clear. She said, like a real adult, I prepared. So I didn't have to go to work. I didn't have to worry about work after. So he was like, I want to see you go to work. And she was like, it don't work like that. And he wasn't comfortable with that. He didn't understand that she could be fine and him have to clock in 9 to 5. So she was like, he just acted like I couldn't do it, but he had to go to work every day. And she said he even had some mishaps because he wasn't at work because of the show. I think that him saying that, one, it was coached, that he had to say some reason. The producers wanted a reason for him saying no. And two, it was a bad excuse because technically we all know that AD probably may be doing better than him.
Correct.
As a real estate agent. I mean, he's doing Airbnbs, so that's a scam here in Atlanta.
Do we get to talk about how the whole thing with the mom and the dad?
Sure, let's go right into that.
I was wondering where we're going to be able to talk about that. I'm so sorry because that moment, she said, "Don't you do this right now."
Yeah, go ahead, LP. You want to lead it?
She was like,
She said, "Don't you
don't want no parts. Done it for 25 years. Good off you. Thank you."
Listen, and I think that to me, that was an intense moment. I think that was an intense moment, that exchange. Because, I guess he thought this was the time to be smooth operator. She was like, I'm not having this, and don't you do this here. This is not our son's wedding. This is not what you're going to do. This, you know what you did. That was my part. It was her. She said, you know what you did. And she's still smiling. And I was like, but I could feel that. I felt that for her. And I felt that moment. I really felt that moment. And as a mom and as a wife, I could understand where she was coming from. And you watching your son get ready to take this same stroll, better that he be a better man than his dad. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the look I saw on her face. I want you to be a better man than your father. Yeah. That was my takeaway from that intense moment between the two of them, and how she just kind of was pacing with her hands like this. That motherly
like,
concern.
20 years ago, this would have been different. Okay.
So, to add a little context to that, I agree with you, LT. She found out about about Clay being on these cheating dates during the process of the show. So that added another layer, I think, of shock, of like hurt. Yeah, Tasha.
Well, my church finger is for Niecy's church finger. Niecy had a church finger a couple minutes ago. I was just referring to her church finger, so just keep it.
I'm gonna try to make it quick because I know we're going low on time. But I actually have a little bit of an inside scoop on that cheating daddy. So I'm watching the show in the salon, and one of my clients grew up with Clay. She did not date Clay. Her cousin dated Clay. So when Clay said that moment about how he was a part of the cheating rendezvous and didn't know about it, the dad was bringing his mistress to the track meet. And Clay did not know who she was. So client is there, and she's like, yeah, he was bringing random women, different women, to the track meet. So that's what he meant when he was like, I was a part of these situations and I didn't know about it. And why the mama found out on the show.
Right. Wow. Groundbreaking, really. That's so sad.
I mean, he didn't need to marry her. The reality is he did not need to marry her. He don't need to marry nobody.
He not ready.
Maybe not now, but
not right now. Not right now. I'm not saying ever in life. I'm just saying that this is not the time.
I think both of them need some intense.
I was gonna say from the therapist and the queen. I was waiting to say he needs therapy.
Right. Yeah.
Did anybody see the 3-year girlfriend that he had before the show? And how she did that rant all over Twitter and social media?
What?
Yeah, I did.
That was crazy.
And like Nisa said, I know John. Go ahead.
I'm saying they all got that 80 booty, so he definitely got a type.
He for sure does.
He's a type. So do y'all think they're still together?
No, they're not together.
I think they deal with each other, but maybe not necessarily together.
Yeah, I think they're definitely talking.
Yeah, I want to say one of the podcasts she did, she mentioned like when she does see him in public, they'll like touch all over each other and embrace each other, and like that's her way of making him realize what he missed on.
Well, if I can reference Glamour magazine and her interview with them and the reunion where he says that he realized he made a mistake, and they asked her, why did she not give a definitive answer that no, this could never happen? Why didn't she just shut it down definitively? So when she, in her interview, she said that she just, because he said it publicly, she didn't think it was right to have that moment with him and just make him feel bad in public. She felt like that's a conversation they should have in private, but they are still friends and they do still talk. And that's per her interview in Glamour magazine, that she shares that she and him are still, they're friends, that they're just friends. But when people look at their interactions and things, basically like what Adam has said, if given the opportunity and the right circumstances, do I think they'll be back together? I think the door is open. Because whether or not she said she didn't want to publicly say no, if you're not feeling somebody, you're not vibing, it's a no matter what. Because at this point, we're at a reunion show. There's nothing on the line. You know, so either we in or we out. And so that's how I look at it.
He was very apologetic with the whole Matthew thing, like explaining what happened, and she like looked
at him for confirmation.
Yes, that's why I was like, why are you telling him it's okay? We done with him. Why does it matter? So that's why I said that. I agree.
And even when Matthew actually was brought up as a topic, I don't know, because I'm very huge on body language, and you could see Clay adjusting himself as like he was tense, like it wasn't something he wanted to really have to stomach or listen to. And I just, if you guys aren't in that dynamic, those wouldn't be very present feelings in that time, in my opinion.
Don't y'all think it would be, or how would you, this can be our last question, how would y'all feel though, like if you were her, would you be embarrassed to say that you have now decided to move forward with him after everything happened?
He could be like Sarah. Look at Sarah.
Everybody could be
Sarah standing on business, okay?
Yeah. She won't miss out on her man.
Someone said that to me. They were like, well, even if she was with him, she probably not going to want anyone to know right away because of how it went down and how she basically was like, I don't want to, you missed out. But if she really is still in love with him and wants to be with him, she may not want us all to know right now. Maybe
this year may want to do it privately.
True. Yeah. And it has been a year. It's been a while. That's a year. That's 12 months. So a lot can happen.
A year ago for them.
Yeah, but you can't be private now. You've been all on the. You can already put it out there. Why be private now?
And for all we know, they might have taped the reunion before we saw that snippet of them back in December when she was with the fam. She was with his mom, Clay, the brother.
No, the reunion was just filmed, and
Danielle's on the cat. On Danielle works for the producers, y'all.
The reunion was just. The reunion was just.
We got the Love Is Blind shade room right here.
reunion was just filmed, and they hadn't seen each other for a year. Well, she said a year, but that can't be right because they saw each other in Thanksgiving 2023.
And that's what she was saying, that was, it was before. And she said, but
Yeah,
she's still cool. She said that the relationship with the family is still very real. Like she
yeah.
still has connections with the mom, and like those things have not changed.
So she did say that they weren't able to see the wedding scenes before anyone. So the night before the reunion, they watched the wedding scenes, which is why a lot of her reactions to Clay were what they were, because she wasn't, it was like raw.
aware.
And then he's like, "You're the love of my life." And she's like, "But you just said," to her, it's like, "You just said no, and you worry about my finances." So I think that plays a part. I don't know how they made sure that she didn't see the wedding. That sounds a little sketchy to me, but that is what she said.
Quintina said, "I hate that she used the Matthew date as a flex, especially since he also played in her face in the pods." She did kind of act like I went out with Matthew, although Matthew,
he's cute.
Yeah, it bothered me. The whole Matthew thing bothered me. Although
Why?
my favorite character, but still.
Wait, you said he was your favorite character,
Yes,
right?
only because Matthew was jaw dropping to me. Like how he acted was just like the audacity.
The 13 questions.
Like
because it takes a level of confidence to put that suit on, to sit on that couch, and every woman that come in that room, you talking about you got 13 questions, and then when they pick a question you don't want, you're like, oh, pick another one because you gonna answer this question.
He was listen, top tier entertainment, baby. That's top tier entertainment. I was here for it. I mean,
so why do y'all think he didn't come to the reunion? Why did he decline coming to the reunion?
Because of optics.
Because he would have been like Trevor.
Yeah, he's already hated. So he was worried about the cameras anyway. So that's why he didn't come.
Optics. Yep.
They ate Trevor up.
Yeah.
Well, y'all, we have made it to time. It is 9:01. It is time to get the heck up on out of here. Okay, now wrap us on up.
Thank you, girls, for coming on and participating in our shenanigans. Thank you, co-host in the comments. We love you guys. If you get bored tomorrow, watch this over and over again. If you haven't yet done so, please share. We are like all the good things in the grocery store. We are on the outside. We are found on Apple, Spotify, all the Black platforms. We there because we Black. We love you, and let's go out there and make smart choices. Do not ignore your red flags. And we hope that you gain something from our banter so that you can go out into the world and pour into others. And that's it. Bye.